Good morning, everyone. This is Dr. Dustin Hendrix. I'm on my morning workout, doing my warm-up on the treadmill right now. I'm going to do a little bit of an impromptu video. We just re-upped our lease. So I think this is a really good time for us to kind of give you the backstory about Chiro MSK Specialists, how this all started, and what we wanted to do with y'all. It's been quite amazing. I am local, I grew up around here, but it had been a long time since I had came back because I was in school, and I guess I opened up when I was about 27 and a half, somewhere in there. So we have over 52 5-star Google reviews, which is incredible. More importantly, it's the stories behind those reviews that we've had people talk to us about that just are so special. I'll be highlighting those as we go, but I just kind of want to talk about what was the vision for this company and what happened and how this all started. So I have a personal training background, which is a little different. I don't really know the history in chiropractic in terms of when the tide and the paradigm shifted, but it was very taboo for a chiropractor to want to be able to do exercise and soft tissue and adjustments. It doesn't mean that there weren't a percentage of people doing it. It's just that portion of the profession was kind of the black sheep for a while. It kind of blows my mind because, B.J. Palmer, the son of the founding father of chiropractic, he had an exercise phys lab. Like, you can look this up in, I think it's the 20s or 30s. It's a nice black and white picture of that one. I can attach that. The other interesting thing is there was a chiropractor named Nemo who did extensive studies into myofascial release and trigger point. And the adjustment has always been linked to us. So it's just really interesting to think, where it kind of changed, where chiropractors weren't supposed to do exercise, soft tissue, and adjustments. One thing that wasn't on my radar that's kind of developed over the last 3 years is the biopsychosocial side, and we'll talk about that a little bit. We have that class on chronic pain, but really that's where it started. I was a personal trainer, and I had a patient come to me, and she was a marathon runner, about mid-40s, couldn't run anymore, and she was like, I really want to be able to get back to running. And at the time, I was 20, 21. I didn't have my kinesiology or my human performance degree. I didn't have my human biology or my doctorate in chiropractic. I had a CES, and it's really interesting, the NASM-CES, I don't want to say they took it, but they have a lot of similarities with Yonda, who was one of our founders in corrective exercises and looking at muscular imbalances and things of that nature. So I had that background, and inside the NASM-CES, they comboed it with myofascial release and rolling and stuff. So this patient, we took her in a month from not being able to walk to being able to do marathons again. And by we, I mean this was just me at this time at Lifetime Fitness in Mansfield. And I was like, okay, what just happened? We did some foam rolling, we did some exercise stuff. This patient went from not being able to walk to now being able to run a marathon again in a month. So, I didn't have the education background. I didn't know about piriformis syndrome or sensitive nervous systems or disc bulges or things of that nature. So it really kind of put a seed in my brain. The other thing that was frustrating me about it was it was a very corporate situation. And with that one, you basically have a middleman, which makes the bills really high for y'all. That's one thing that's interesting with this office is you'll notice that we have a model that's very similar to a franchise that does a lot of soft tissue for chiropractic, but we're able to have our cash price at a third of that because, we cut out the middleman. That's something that I was really passionate about. But yeah, so I saw those things happening, so that kind of shifted me to I need to go back, I need to shore up my education. And I went back, got my kinesiology degree and human performance kinesiology from Texas A&M Commerce. And then I was still training that whole time, and I loved the correctives, I loved the foam rolling, but I wanted to do more hands-on, myofascial, more hands-on joint mobilizations. I thought I could help more people with it. So I kind of had this vision forming, and you have to understand, this was, I didn't know, Greg Cook. I didn't know Craig Liebenson. I didn't know about Mike Boyle. I didn't know about Supple Leopard. I didn't know about all of these guys at that time. I was just kind of putting my toe in the water but not diving in. So it's really interesting because I just knew that this type of model, there was a need for it, and it was going to work really well because I had seen just the baseline of it already. So, I went into chiropractic school, and I won't get too deep into that, but this model was very challenging for the old guard. That was a young man, and I could have approached things a lot better, but this was kind of like a big paradigm shift already. I don't want to get bogged down in that one. So my goal was, and this was one of the reasons why it was going to be hard for me to go into somebody else's office, was because I wanted to do this combination. There's definitely doctors out there that do it. There's phenomenal doctors that do it. We're not the first ones by any means. But then, I was also really drawn to take care of my family. And so that's when the idea of, coming in and starting NH at the time, which would become Chiro MSK, started. I did have some offers to be in a franchise type setting with a really big gym, and also be their personal trainer inside there. And then I also had some offers with a very common soft tissue franchise. But I still really like the combination of it. I didn't like the idea of just, throwing out the adjustments. I'm still always kind of a little bit of a free thinker. And, it's really interesting because I don't know if I would have gone inside a model, if I would have started going down the biopsychosocial. I think I would have probably stayed very biomedical. Who knows? Might still have opened up to it. But you never know on those things. So, Chiro MSK Specialists was initially NH. So we started about 3 years ago. I'm going to do a little running here, so bear with me. So we started about 3 years ago. And, this is real, this is vulnerable. This is kind of raw. When I started to visualize opening this, I literally drained the last $3,000 in my bank account. That's how tight it was. I had some, it was just it was tough. It was a really hard decision to open this. We were really lucky to find somebody who would not charge us a build-out cost for our lease. So we had a lot of stuff happen there. But it was tough. Nobody ever had at that time talked to me about, this isn't the old days where you're a good doctor, you put your name in the yellow pages, and you have a sign out on Main Street and you're good. So, I didn't fully understand, insurance and billing and social media and blogging. I still don't, as you can tell from the quality of this video, but it's a lot, And I understand small business owners, it's a struggle nowadays to be able to make it. Getting loans to be a small business owner, things of that nature. We were able to luckily do it without, refurbished equipment, things of that nature too. But yeah, so we got the company open in May of 2019, and then, 6 to 8 months later, COVID hit. And at the time we were in H chiropractic because I was in here with my best friend, and COVID hit. We wanted to take that seriously during the initial because we didn't know what was going to go down. And then it was really fascinating because we got through that, we opened back up. And then my partner was like, hey, I'm out. And so it's okay, we took this huge risk, opened up a company from scratch. We're able to do it, draining savings, bank accounts, stuff like that. And then, we hit a pandemic. And then 2-3 months when we're starting to kind of ramp back up, then we go through a buyout. The buyout was tough, but this is kind of something to remember. You have to look for silver linings in life. And what I mean by that was, when we hit the buyout, we reached a place where when we opened Chiro MSK, we still weren't 100% sure that Ellis County, Waxahachie area was ready for the changing of the guard. Like, were they really ready for a chiropractor who does these 30 to 45 minutes, who follows the actual clinical guidelines, who does the adjustment, who does the soft tissue rehab? And now, we've started adding in the biopsychosocial. That was a tough decision at that time. And, as soon as we did the rebrand, I doubled down on that because I believe that's where the clinical guidelines were, where the profession is shifting. We want to move the paradigm away from dependent treatments and towards patient empowerment. Using biopsychosocial, using your traditional therapies, but using them as a springboard instead of a you always have to come in and see us type thing. So, yeah. We got through the buyout, got through that one. It's been a process every step of the way, but that's really what happened and how Chiro MSK started. I'm gonna get back to my workout, but I just wanted to share that with y'all. I wanted to thank y'all for a wonderful 3 years. We're gonna be doing more posts about some of the reviews and the stories and the things that we've had, kind of just highlighting those over Mondays. I think we're gonna make Mondays patient appreciation days. And but I just wanted to give you a little story about the starting of the company. If you're a small business owner and you're struggling, I understand, I get it. Times are hard. Inflation, housing markets, everything's kind of nuts right now. But hang in there. Try to find your silver linings. All right, guys, take care.